Wilson. Judy.
What do you need to win in today's NFL? That's right, a great quarterback. Not just a good one, no, a great one. And you know, they gotta be consistent too. They can't just be one and done. So, how's every team looking on the quarterback front? Not just for this season, but for every season beyond that too. Alright, you've heard it 1,000 times before, but you know that the NFL is a quarterback-driven league. Without a legitimate franchise QB, it is extremely hard to succeed. So, let's take a look at the upcoming season and beyond and rank every NFL team's franchise quarterback based on both their current ability and their long-term promise. Number 32, Washington Commanders, Sam Howell. Sam Howell did win his lone start in 2022, albeit in a rather underwhelming fashion, completing just 11 of 19 passes for 169 yards and 1 touchdown, while also tossing 1 pick. The former UNC quarterback is going to have an opportunity to play in yet another transitional season for Washington. And hey, who knows, maybe he'll prove himself to be a competent starter. But you know, until we actually see it on the field, Mr. Howell is going to remain at the bottom of our rankings. Number 31, Atlanta Falcons, Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder put up slightly better numbers than Howell, posting a 2-2 record, completing 63.5% of his passes, but for just 708 total yards and 2 touchdowns. And hey, no interceptions. But at the same time, he didn't have the kind of showing that would scream, hey, this is our guy. He only has to hold off Taylor Heineke to keep the starting job in Atlanta this year, but he is still a long ways off from being a true franchise quarterback. Number 30, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield. The former number 1 overall pick showed so much promise during those early days in Cleveland, but it really seems like it's all come unraveled at this point. He is now with his 4th team, and it is put up or shut up time for the former Heisman Trophy winner. He needs to find a way to win games and perform consistently in Tampa. Otherwise, he is gonna run out of rope. Number 29, Los Angeles Rams, Matt Stafford. We are now firmly in the twilight period of Matt Stafford's career, and the daylight is fading fast. At 35 years old, and with his injury history, his days of being considered a true franchise quarterback are over. Number 28, Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. Well, if there's one thing that the Green Bay Packers have done well over the past few decades, it's find themselves a franchise quarterback. Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, now to Jordan Love. We still have our doubts about what Love will look like under center at the pro level, but he will have his chance to prove us wrong this year. Number 27, Las Vegas Raiders, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is many things. A former second-round pick, a Super Bowl champion, at least as a backup. He's even a solid starter in the NFL. But what he is unequivocally not is a franchise quarterback. San Fran had one of the most quarterback-friendly systems imaginable, and he still was extremely inconsistent. Now, Vegas has decided to roll the dice on the swarthy signal color. My gut feeling says that they are the latest in a long line of hearts broken by old Jimmy G. Number 26, Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is one of the rare entries on this list that was a franchise quarterback before seemingly getting space jammed somewhere along his journey from Seattle to Denver. It's always possible that he turns it around, especially with Sean Payton calling the shots now, but until he becomes Russ again, yeah, he's not going anywhere on this list. Number 25, Tennessee Titans, Will Levis. Will Levis has the dubious distinction of being the big name in the 2023 draft to tumble into round 2, but he will have a great opportunity to show what he can do in Tennessee this year, where the quarterback job is wide open. That said, he wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire at Kentucky either, so we'll have to see him prove it at the NFL level. Number 24, Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith. Geno Smith went from nearly being cast out of the league to now Seattle rubbing its eyes and wondering if a new franchise quarterback has landed in its lap. It's hard to argue with over 4,200 yards and 30 touchdowns and just 11 picks, but, you know, with his track record, we just need to see like a little more. Number 23, San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy. Speaking of guys who still have more to prove, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, who to his credit looked electric before getting injured last year, still has to show us a little more. An 8-game sample size isn't going to cut it, but we'll give him an edge over Geno, who admittedly did slightly more with less because he is much younger. Number 22, New England Patriots, Mac Jones. Man, if you told me Mac Jones would have been back here in the 20s after making the Pro Bowl during his rookie year playing for Bill Belichick, I would have said you were crazy. But, yeah, he kind of took a step back last year. And while it seems like a nagging back injury was a significant factor in this, as well as their committee of offensive coordinators, Mac needs to get the train back on the tracks and prove that he is the quarterback of the future. Number 21, New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr. Derek Carr's production was solid with the Raiders, but to many, those numbers seemed hollow. In part because the team was just 63-79 during his 9 seasons with no playoff victories to show for it. He'll have to prove that he can be a difference maker in terms of winning games for the Saints. Number 20, Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins. Cousins gets a slight edge over Carr for at least being able to coast to a couple of playoff victories. Sure, he's not able to elevate his team over the hump, but at least he gets there. That said, he still clearly is not the straw that stirs the drink in Minnesota. And though he has been serviceable since breaking into the league with Washington, the buck stops there. And at his age, well, it is extremely unlikely that he takes that next step. Number 19, New York Giants, Daniel Jones. The Giants made big headlines this offseason by inking Daniel Jones to a 4-year, $160 million deal. But with a closer look, it appears that New York is just about as sure that Danny Dimes is a franchise quarterback as we are, aka 50-50. Because just the first 2 years of the deal are fully guaranteed, meaning that the Giants have a financially viable out in year 3 if he doesn't continue to progress under the tutelage of Brian Daboll. That said, the Giants did cater their system to his skill set last season, and the real-time results were good and the upside looked promising. So perhaps Jones will take that next step and validate New York taking him 6th overall. Number 18, Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, well, he did not look good in his return from suspension last year. The Browns went 3-3 during his starts and totaled just 1,102 yards and 7 TDs to 5 interceptions. And really, he just looked like a shell of his former self. With a player as talented as Deshaun, maybe it's just a matter of getting more live reps or recovering psychologically from ruining his public reputation with his behavior. It feels like at this point, this one could go either way. Number 17, Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson. It is obviously early, but there's reason for Colts fans to be excited about their 2023 first-round pick. Anthony Richardson is one of the most physically gifted prospects we've seen in some time, and Indianapolis has a solid reputation for developing the quarterbacks it has taken in the first round. He could very well end up being their guy for the next decade. Number 16, Houston Texans, CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is another young quarterback with a lot to prove, but he has a world of potential. We gave him a slight edge over Richardson because he seems to be slightly less raw. Though this assessment wasn't without consternation because the young quarterback has the deck stacked against him with the whole, playing for the Texans thing. Number 15, Detroit Lions, Jared Goff. With the early success he had in LA under Sean McVay and the revitalized performance we saw out of him last season, it's hard to deny that Jared Goff is a solid quarterback to build around. Even with an albatross 0-7 rookie year and a tough first 3-win season in Detroit, his career record is still well over 500. He is a 3-time Pro Bowler and he has made it to a Super Bowl. That is a heck of a lot more than you can say about most guys. Number 14, Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett. While Pickett had more than his fair share of detractors come out of the draft and early into his rookie season, he played really well down the stretch of the year during the Steelers' shocking near playoff run. Should be an exciting time in the Steel City with Pickett as the focal point of the organization. Number 13, Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray. We are still somewhat bullish on the Cardinals' former first overall pick, but between the recent injuries and the growing maturity concerns, his stock is, it's definitely lower than it was a couple of years ago. That said, he has shown enough at the NFL level and has the pedigree and skill sets to be given the benefit of the doubt. But let me just say, this man is on notice. Number 12, New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers may be coming off a rather meh 2022 season, but he is still more than capable of leading a team to Super Bowl contention and being one of the top quarterbacks in the league. The only reason he isn't higher on this list is that he still has father time to contend with, and the 40-year-old cannot really be viewed as the long-term plan for the Jets. Number 11, Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. The former Ohio State quarterback is a truly elite runner. He has all the intangibles and one talented arm. Fields still needs to develop more as a passer, but with the way that the Bears leveraged his athleticism last year, Chicago should feel good about its quarterback situation. He showed more than enough in 2022 to be viewed as a legitimate franchise quarterback. Number 10, Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young. I think when a quarterback is taken first overall in the draft, they have to be, by default, a franchise quarterback. At least until proven otherwise. And to his credit, Bryce Young looks the part. The 2021 Heisman Trophy winner is a proven leader and winner, and has phenomenal mechanics that should translate well to the NFL level, and allow him to make all the throws needed to be a top contributor for years to come. Number 9, Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa. Tua, another former Alabama quarterback, gets a slight edge over Young because of the highs that we've seen him reach when healthy. There are still some question marks around the lefty, but before the concussions last year, he looked like a potential MVP candidate. So we gotta give him a little credit. Number 8, Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Ever since Dak Prescott stepped in for Tony Romo in 2016, all he has done is win games for the Dallas Cowboys. His game isn't perfect, especially with the INT bug he caught last year, but this is a guy who has gone 61-36 as a starter, and is 1 year removed from throwing for nearly 4,500 yards and 37 touchdowns. Will he be able to win a Super Bowl? Well, I don't know about that, but he is undeniably a franchise quarterback, plain and simple. Number 7, Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was one of the most highly touted quarterback prospects in recent memory. And now that he's gotten some of the Urban Meyer stank off of him, he is starting to show exactly why Jacksonville took him first overall. It'll be exciting to see how we can build on their 2022 late season playoff push and insane wildcard comeback this year. Number 6, Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has all the talent in the world. Now he just needs to try and find a way to put that on display more consistently. And, avoid the kind of letdown that happened in the second half against Jacksonville in the wildcard round. Even so, with all the potential that he has, plus the real-time output, he deserves to be the 6th spot on this list. Number 5, Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Although a lot of the insane Josh Allen hype has now died down, that does not make him any less of a star. He's just not the otherworldly superhero that the media tried to make him heading into last year. But physically, he is one of the most talented guys we've ever seen at the position. No doubt he is still at the top of the list when it comes to franchise quarterbacks. Number 4, Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. Now that Lamar and the Ravens have finally gotten a contract worked out, it's time for the 2019 League MVP to show all of his critics exactly who he has been since he entered the NFL. A freakishly athletic quarterback that you can build a team around. With Lamar under center, the Ravens are always in playoff contention. He is just that good. Number 3, Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. Philly has a reason to be excited about the Birds for a long time to come, and that reason is Jalen Hurts. He emerged as a bona fide star in the league this past year, throwing for 3,701 yards and 22 touchdowns and rushing for 760 yards and 13 touchdowns, all en route to a 14-1 record as the starter. As long as he can stay healthy, Hurts will be the guy in the city of brotherly love. Number 2, Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow. There are few athletes cooler under pressure than Joe Burrow, and he just so happens to do it while playing the most important position in all of sports. Cincinnati needs to do everything it can to keep Joe happy in stripes. After years of ineptitude for the organization, Burrow has made them relevant in a way that we haven't seen since Ocho Cinco. In fact, with 2 AFC title appearances and 1 Super Bowl appearance, Burrow has already blown past what 85 and Carson Palmer did way back when. Number 1, Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, come on, this was an easy one. Patrick Mahomes is the franchise in Kansas City, and until further notice, wherever he goes, he is the franchise. He is far and away the best quarterback in the league, and he is just turning 28 this year. Kansas City is sitting pretty in this department. But what NFL team do you think has the best franchise quarterback? Who has the worst? What did we get right? What did we get wrong? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.